Sarah and Abby's Vegan Adventures, episode 7.
Episode 7.
You just love the echo thing, don't you?
I do.
Sarah told me about something last week, and I didn't believe her. Turns out
She was trying to accuse me of lying.
telling
She was
the
saying
truth.
I lied.
Well, I thought maybe...
I was like, I'm not lying. And you were like,
I just thought your source was maybe,
what?
I don't know.
She thinks I don't know how to do research.
All right, why don't you tell me what happened? Because,
All right, so this is what I told Abby. I said this girl, this YouTuber, adopted a child, a human, a Homo sapien child. She had him, he lived with her for 2 years, and then she just gave him away.
And I was like, no, you can't do that.
And I was like, no, she literally adopted him from China and then just gave him away.
And I was like, nah, it's fake.
And it's real. It turns out, Abby, of course, had to fact check me, and of course I was right, like usual. She had to prove that I was right, and it's the truth.
Yeah, and so go on her YouTube. Let's call her out. Her name is Myka Stauffer, and she's a YouTube influencer. And she posted this announcement on her YouTube channel that
An update on our family.
Mm-hmm.
In all lowercase. An update on our family.
And honestly, when I watched the video, I thought she was acting. I thought it was a really bad high school play. Because she was like, I'm so emotional about this. And we just love him so much. Okay, I'm sorry. And didn't they use the term rehome?
Yes.
Okay.
They said that. Yeah, so she, this girl, I, looked on her YouTube channel. I don't know, I've never heard of her before. So I was looking at her YouTube channel, and she, has, random videos, mostly about being a mom and stuff. She has 4 biological children.
Mm-hmm.
And, has videos about them. And then she has the video about adopting Huxley. That's the baby's name. And in that video, it's called, Gotcha Day. She just looked so fake. And, I'm sorry. I understand, you're a YouTuber. Part of, your job is showing your personal life. But there has to be a line between, your personal life and what you're showing to everybody. Okay, we could have known that you make a video about bringing him home from China, but why are you literally showing us the moment that your first moment you laid eyes on your son? That's so weird to me. And
yeah.
She was being so weird in the video. The baby was upset because he's with these strangers, and she just didn't look like she knew what to do. It looked uncomfortable to me. Maybe I'm just being mean because I know that she ended up giving him away.
Well, yeah. So, and the other thing, viewers, is it's not that she got him and then realized that it was too much for their family to handle, or something catastrophic happened. She had him for 2 years.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, an older child that they had just brought home, and then wasn't the right match. How do you have a child in your life and you're calling this child your son because he is your son, and then you just give him away?
So he was a little less than 2, I guess, when they adopted him. And then literally when he was 4, right? They were like, it's not a good fit.
Yeah.
That's what you say about a job, or a yoga class that you don't like going to.
Yes. Or a house. It's not the right fit for our family. Yeah, or a car. It's not the right fit for our family. You don't say that about a member of your family. The
A
fact that she
human
had him
being.
for 2 years is what's throwing me.
Yeah.
And
Or
she didn't really
saying
go into much detail.
about why they gave him away, you mean?
Yeah. In that video, they were just being really, really vague because they were saying they want to respect his privacy. Okay, now you want to respect his privacy
Mm-hmm.
when it makes you look like a dick. But when it makes you look good, we didn't care about his privacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We
so
didn't
there's
care about his
two.
privacy when he was, coming off.
No, I was just gonna say there's two theories here, because Sarah thinks there's might be something like that they really are trying to protect his privacy, like maybe he was violent towards one of their other children, or something that they really were concerned about.
Yeah,
but
that's what
I don't know. I think they're just saying that to make themselves look good.
Maybe they convinced themselves.
Yeah, like that he was like.
Did you see those other videos of her with him?
I saw.
With the duct tape?
What?
Okay, so, I was on a long car ride going to Lake George, so I was watching a bunch of videos. And this one YouTuber pointed out, I guess he sucked his thumb a lot, which, is
normal.
A coping mechanism for when they do it when they're a little older, apparently. It's a coping mechanism. It's how they self-soothe, so they'll do it, a little longer than a baby not in that situation.
But also, so many kids do that. Like, my cousin did it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends who do it.
Yeah. So, to get him to stop sucking his thumb, they put duct tape on his hand.
Oh, okay. And posted it?
And posted it.
Okay.
I didn't know that that's an okay thing to do.
No, it's not.
It's not. So I looked into it. I looked into thumb sucking. And I found that children that experience trauma suck their thumbs a lot. And it's just a normal behavior for children. And it's a self-soothing behavior that you should allow your child to do. And typically it's over by the time they have their adult teeth. And if it's not, then, you can replace it with other things and have a conversation with your child, because at that point they're a little older. But you by no means put duct tape on your kid's hand.
Yeah, no.
Your traumatized child's hand.
And also special needs, because he was diagnosed with autism, right? Or not yet at this point.
Yeah, he was autistic, and then they think that he had, they said he had some type of brain damage, I think.
Okay, so they were just making up every excuse in the book to,
yeah,
pass off their shitty parenting.
Yeah.
Well, and also, okay, you said she has 4 biological kids, but when they adopted him, they had 2, right? And then they adopt him, and then they have 2 more kids. And not that there's anything wrong with adopting and then having, biological kids after, but, there is something to be said about them, having this child who clearly needed a lot of attention and services and care and love, and then she's spending her time on her blog and her pregnancies,
which further proves the point that she was doing this to get views and get money.
Oh yeah, okay, tell me about that, because you said that people sponsored her trip, right?
So just to adopt a child anyway, it's expensive. But especially to adopt a kid from another country, it's a lot of money. And apparently she got the adoption funded by her viewers. People donated to Huxley's adoption. So I'm assuming she didn't pay a cent and or probably made money in, quote, donation.
Oh my God.
To his care, I'm assuming. Some
of the comments were human trafficker. Is that just because of the paying thing?
I don't know. I don't really understand that.
Well, probably because they're saying she got paid to adopt him.
Probably. Yeah.
And then I don't understand. They go oh, he's thriving in his new forever home. What? They released a statement through an above-board, properly vetted process known as adoption dissolution, or an underground, maligned practice known as rehoming. They said that it appears that Myka made arrangements with an individual person versus an agency. In the U.S., a child who is adopted internationally can be placed with a new family through rehoming or unregulated custody transfers, and it's incredibly frowned upon by adoption advocates. It's not illegal in many places in the U.S., including Ohio, which is where they live. So that's literally what they did, and maybe they knew that before. There's some states that prohibit it, but even in some of these states, the statute is not always clear and the penalties vary, and many states have no prohibition. And the CEO of the National Council for Adoption said, "We'd like to see a creation of a national standard prohibiting it."
So she found a freaking lady by herself and just.
It says, in these cases, Johnson said, an adoptive family can bypass all the legal requirements, the courts, the child welfare system, and place them with another family without regard for their safety. Okay, what? This practice poses serious safety concerns for adopted children as well as legal ramifications for adopted parents. And then instead, it says you can go through adoption dissolution. Parents that have finalized an adoption relinquish their parental rights to that child. The child is then either adopted a second time by another family or placed in the state foster care system, and you're required to report transfers to the government. And then the new family would have to legally adopt the child. Okay, in 2019, 8 adoptions were disrupted out of 2,971 total international adoptions. Children ranged from 2 to 13. Some remained in their home country and were returned to orphanages, and others were placed with new families. In 2018, the adoptions of 4 children, all ages 5 and under, were disrupted. Reasons range from medical and behavioral issues to the parents changing their minds or being unprepared. The agency they adopted from said the way they went about it was unusual, putting it on social media and describing it as, "We found another family." Well, what does that mean? Did they go through an agency? Was there another home study done on the other family? That part is highly unusual.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
I'm back.
What's good? I was literally talking to myself. I was just talking about that the Stauffer family went basically like under the table, and that it can be legal in some states, but the adoption agencies really frown upon it. The couple's lawyers cited a team of medical professionals who advised our clients it might be best for Huxley to be placed with another family.
Okay, so my question is this. Obviously, if they went, I mean, maybe not obviously, I don't know. I would just think that, adoption agencies, especially when we're dealing with international adoptions, I would think that they're pretty careful about placing the kids in homes that they think are the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if he's special needs and he's, from China, I don't think that they would just, give him to them all willy-nilly. Obviously, they were capable of caring for him at some point where they got approved to adopt him by an agency. So then what happened in those 2 years? What?
Well, she said that they weren't informed of all of his needs and they weren't told of his special needs. But obviously special needs develop over time.
They knew that he had special needs.
Oh, they did?
Because at first, I think at first when they saw him, they didn't know. And then they were apprehensive about adopting a special needs child. And then they said, okay, you know what? We love him so much, we're going to do it. They decide. And then, yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'm obviously not educated enough in adoption, but I would just think that they're pretty careful about who they adopt out special needs kids to. So what happened to her in those 2 years?
She had
How do you go? So you think that it just didn't fit her little fairy tale YouTuber lifestyle?
That's what I think, which is crude.
I mean, I think it might be a little of that, but I think they didn't know. They underestimated how hard it would be. And
yeah, but what about all of the families? Somebody commented on her post and said, "I have a special needs child. They don't come with an instructions manual, and you do the best you can. There's no alternative to being a parent."
Yes, because it's your child. Okay, if one of her biological kids, ended up with the same.
Oh, okay. But she's not claiming that they gave him up because of the autism. She's claiming that something happened.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay, so she says, "We would never just give up a child with special needs. This is a personal matter to Hux. It had nothing to do with he just had autism. Multiple scary things happened inside the home towards our other children. And if these events happened with one of my biological kids, after all the help and after the behaviors we witnessed, sadly, we would have no other choice than to seek help and get their needs met." Okay, so she's saying that she would get rid of her biological child.
Yeah, so she's saying that if her biological kid did that she would also rehome her biological kid?
You can't do that.
No way. Is that even allowed? No, right?
I don't.
Is that even a thing?
Let me see.
Can you just? I don't. Well, yeah, you'd have to put them into like the system.
Yeah, but I don't think you could just put them in the system. I think they would have to go into like.
I don't know. Let's look into that though, because that's like interesting.
This says if
Because
you.
it's just so absurd that I can't imagine anybody doing that. Yeah, I just really doubt that. And like again, when you make the commitment, like this just comes down to like you made a commitment. Like
Yeah, like okay, if your child that you have biological, that's it's a tiny bit different because at the end of the day, you didn't. I mean, you did consciously make that choice, but you didn't. I don't know.
yes, like they
You know what I mean?
consciously made the choice to adopt a special needs child from China. There is a lot that goes into that decision. Yes, when you get pregnant, you don't consciously make the decision about what child you're going to get. Anything can happen, you know? But they made the decision to adopt a special needs boy. Like, that's,
Yeah.
like, that's what's mind boggling about it. Like, and now this poor boy has, like, freaking, he already has attachment disorders.
Mm-hmm.
And now you just gave him away?
Okay, there's a law in Nebraska. A man lost his wife, and he gave up 9 of his 10 children.
And when?
So 2008, on September 1st, a mother left her 14-year-old son in a police station. September 23rd, 2 more boys and 1 girl aged 11 to 14 had been abandoned in hospitals. Then a 15-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl were left. The biggest shock came when a single father walked into an Omaha hospital and surrendered 9 of his 10 children, ages 1 to 17, saying that his wife had died and he could no longer cope with the burden of raising them. So abandonments are a misuse of a new law that was mainly intended to prevent so-called dumpster babies, the abandonment of newborns by young, terrified mothers, but instead has been used to hand off out-of-control teenagers or, in the case of the father of 10, to escape financial and personal despair. It allows caregivers to drop off children without fear of prosecution, but it has also cast a spotlight on the hidden extent of family turmoil in the country and what many experts say is a shortage of respite care, counseling, and especially psychiatric services to help parents in dire need.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think that that's, definitely something different than what we're seeing here with her, because clearly they are a wealthy white family in where Ohio, right?
Yeah,
Like
Ohio.
they are not struggling financially.
And again, chose to adopt him. And then 2 of their other children came after him. Why was he not a priority for them? Is what it's coming down to. Why is he not a priority like the other kids?
Well, and somebody commented, think about what that says to your other kids. Like now they're.
Yes, that was their sibling for 2 years. That's a large percentage of their life when they're like 5. You know?
Yeah.
And then what? You're teaching your kids that A, when things get hard, you can just give up.
Yes.
And B, like, he wasn't really your brother. He was your brother, but now he's not your brother because he did something bad. Like,
or
what? What?
Yeah, or like, and they're
People
gonna
with
always.
special needs, like, people with special needs, like, we could just give them away.
Well, she's claiming that it wasn't that it was whatever happened.
Okay, well, I would assume that stemmed from.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because she said
right?
multiple assessments, numerous medical professionals have felt that he needed a different fit in his medical needs. He needed more. Okay, then you need to give him more.
Obviously, when you adopt a child from another country, is not going to be a walk in the park. And I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. This kid was, who knows what his past was before he was, put up for adoption. He was living in an orphanage. So who knows what his biological parents were doing? Who knows how he ended up in that situation? And then he formed, connections with the people that were caring for him in the orphanage also. And then he was ripped apart from them. Now he's raised by strangers in a foreign country that look also completely different from the people he's used to. That's probably really confusing. Speaking a whole other language that sounds completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take that into consideration too. Like, now he's being raised by this like blonde lady, like speaking English.
Yeah.
That's so confusing and scary. And then now he's ripped apart from them. That's so fucked up. Like, and you say you love him, you don't. You don't. You don't.
Also, child abandonment is illegal in the United States. Some states consider it to be a felony, others categorize it as a misdemeanor. Punishments range from $2,000 fine up to 5 years in prison and a $125,000 penalty. And then, if the child was adopted, it's called rehoming, and that's adopted parents using illegal means, such as the internet, to find a new home for their child. Child abandonment is classified under a subsection of child abuse statutes and is punishable with a felony in most cases. If the child dies as a result of their actions or neglect, they can be additionally charged with reckless abandonment. So, effects on survivors of abandonment: possibility of experiencing abuse and neglect in institutionalized care. That would be if they're, left in orphanages or group homes or foster care systems. Low self-esteem stemming from feelings of guilt about being at fault for being abandoned. Separation anxiety, feelings of anxiety about being separated from parents or caregivers. Attachment issues, difficulty becoming emotionally attached to and trusting other people, especially caregivers. Abandonment issues, characteristic of abandoned child syndrome, including social alienation, guilt, anxiety, clinginess, insomnia, and nightmares. Eating disorders, anger issues, depression, substance abuse, traumatic reenactment through romantic relationships, PTSD syndromes, also known as post-traumatic stress disorder of abandonment. Depending on the severity, children who have developed certain maladjusted tendencies in social interaction may be diagnosed with reactive attachment disorder or disinhibited social engagement disorder. Hello? It's just me, I guess. In 2015, it cost the United States government over $9 billion to support 427,910 children who were in foster care.
Please hold as we wait for Sarah to return.
Oh, wait. Did you know this?
What?
Huxley had a small brain tumor when they adopted him in late 2017.
That's what it was.
But they didn't know that he was profoundly developmentally delayed.
Okay, but
I don't know. She insinuated that they hid from them his developmental issues.
how would you know that? And it's like, obviously that's gonna present a lot differently and probably be more apparent as they age. So
Mhm.
if his issues are X, Y, and Z now, then I feel like it's not really that far fetched to assume that other issues might present as he ages. Do you feel me on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see the video with the duct tape.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like a lot of duct tape.
She would not put that on one of her biological kids, first of all. And second of all, okay, you're supposedly working with all of these, therapists and behavior people for him. You couldn't have run that by them that you feel like he has a thumb sucking problem. Like,
Mhm.
obviously you didn't run that by anybody. So why are you?
When you take off even a band-aid, it hurts, because there's
Your skin gets all raisiny.
yeah, imagine taking off all that duct tape.
Yeah, and kids' hands are clammy anyway.
So, but yeah, so she claimed the reason they rehomed him was that he would violently bang his head on the wall and bite and punch others, including her 4 biological children.
Wait, where did you see this? This is new. This is new.
This is in Global News Canada, but I feel like it's still a slap in the face to parents, adopted, families, and to families of children on the spectrum. Not that she gave up, but
Yeah. You can't. I don't care what she says. There's no way, no matter what she says, there's no way that she would have, quote, rehomed one of her biological children. That is not a thing that people do. So you're calling this boy your son, and then he's having behavioral issues. Like, I don't see that. You know?
There's a petition, remove Myka Stauffer's monetized YouTube videos exploiting a special needs child.
Good, I'll sign up.
Myka Stauffer and her husband adopted a boy with special needs named Huxley from China and monetized the entire process through their YouTube channel. They were given funds from their viewers, which helped to pay for their trip to China and likely fees associated with the adoption. They have since rehomed the child because it was too much work for them. However, they had 3 children when adopting the boy. Oh, they had 3
They
kids
already had
before.
3. Oh.
Yeah. And insisted on a boy from overseas with special needs. They got in over their heads and pulled an already traumatized boy from another country, made money off of him, and they gave him to someone else. The adoption process is very thorough, and these adults knew exactly what they were getting themselves into. They even admit they had many medical professionals advising them. This is unethical and extremely emotionally abusive. We request that her videos featuring Huxley and or any content concerning Huxley be immediately demonetized and removed from the platform. Over 100,000 people signed.
Wow. Good.
Yeah.
Good. And I don't know. I somehow doubt that professionals would advise that that's the best option.
Giving
I
him
mean,
away.
maybe since they brought it up, like maybe the professionals were like, okay, yeah, obviously don't want him, so it's not the best environment for him.
Yeah, but how many people say they don't want their kids? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, when we're looking at it from the lens of like a mom rehomed her adopted son, that seems really fucked up. Like, I think that's really fucked up. That's the whole point of this, podcast episode. But if you look at it like through his eyes and what's best for him, like, could you argue that it's best for him to be placed in another home and that like their family just wasn't the right fit for him?
do you want me to read a quote? Children of color are not put on earth to fuel your white savior complex. One user tweeted at Stauffer. They're not pets you should just rehome when it gets too hard to raise them. And then other people said she rehomed him like an unwanted pet once she had another bio kid.
Yeah, so it's like in certain instances, it is the best option for the pet to be put into another home because their home was not the right fit. Say the dog was adopted out and then is aggressive towards the children. I think any, animal professional would agree that that's not a safe animal to have around children and that the best option is to rehome the dog because otherwise the dog is going to be on lockdown in their own house, going to have to be in a crate, going to have to be separated. That's not a life. And then it's a safety issue for the kids. So yeah, like better fits exist in those circumstances. So could you argue that with this boy that they just weren't the right fit and it was a safety issue for her own kids?
Well, I think that the fundamental difference there is one in which we have to recognize that there are differences between animals and humans, even though we argue for the best treatment for animals as vegans, but there are differences between them. And one of those is that an animal, a pet, a dog, they can thrive, being placed with a new family. And we know that. And the kids who live with the dog, we know that they'll be okay and they'll be able to thrive even if the dog is removed from the family and placed with in a new home. We know that a baby or a child, cannot thrive once it is removed so many times from a family. And we know that the other children are going to be affected significantly from that as well. So it's like, yeah, somebody might be a better fit, but that's still it's so
It's worse for the child than
Mhm.
it would be.
The negative effect is like so impactful that because think about all the parents who are not great parents and all the couples who are single and wanting to adopt. You don't just give away your kid even though there's a better fit.
Yeah. And the best option for kids, I think, they've done a lot of research on it, is to stay with the family that's raised them. That's always the best thing for a human child.
Yeah, and this was 2 years that he was with them.
It's different than rehoming a dog. You can't do that.
I mean, not that that's right either.
No,
people
but it's
doing
very
that.
clear that some dogs cannot thrive in one environment and can thrive in another environment. With this, he is not going to thrive in either environment. He's
Yeah, we
not.
don't know where he spent the first 18 months of his life. If it was in, if he was just sitting in a crib, if he was abused, whatever. Like, we don't know.
And then this was his family for 2 years, and now he's just, yeah.
People on YouTube pointed out that the other children all sucked their thumbs, and none of them ever had duct tape on their thumbs.
Oh.
Mhm. And they made that video private on YouTube, the duct tape one.
Oh.
And people are just reposting it, the ones who have recordings of it. I also saw something that she said that he wanted to go live with somebody else.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Did
I
you
saw
see that?
Yes.
What was that?
Okay. Yeah, it was like in a comment or something. The mom and dad claimed that he said that he wanted to live with the new family. Really? So this boy who has limited verbal skills, a 4-year-old,
Mhm.
told you that he wants to go not live with the family that raised him and wants to live permanently with another family? Really? A 4-year-old? Let's just ignore his, his special needs and the fact that he probably doesn't have a good grasp on English. We'll ignore that. You're letting a 4-year-old tell you that? Really? Really?
Huxley wanted this decision 100%.
Yeah?
We saw that in family time with other people. He constantly chose them and signed with and showed. Oh, so he signed. He didn't. Okay. Signed with and showed tons of emotion to us and let us know he wanted this. Huxley never had a say in his adoption, and he needed more help and also wanted this. And we know that 100%. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like it sounds like they're just fucking bullshitters. They adopted him to get views and get money, and then it was too hard, and then they said bye.
Yeah,
At this poor little boy's expense.
In 2017, she said, "If anything, my child is not returnable." So when I heard all of the things that the doctor was telling us, it kind of went in one ear and out the other. I wasn't in a state of denial. I accepted and took on everything that she said, and I sat down with Jim and I said, worst case situation, if our little boy at one point in his life, he needs to be in a wheelchair and he needed full on care, would you still love him? And we, without a doubt in our minds, we knew no matter what state he came to us that we would love him.
Oh. Ew, I'm on her Instagram right now?
She changed her bio to 4 kids instead of 5, right?
No, it doesn't even say anything.
Oh, yeah, she took it off. Ugh.
And I don't see any pictures of him.
Oh, she deleted all the pics of him?
I see one. I see one pic from February 16th. The last couple days have been hard. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. We have had a lot of meltdowns and lots of behaviors that have had us on our knees begging God for guidance. On social media and YouTube, we rarely show the behaviors or the hard stuff because we try our best to respect our son's privacy and dignity. Oh my God, you're so annoying with that. We have hard days, lots of them. I wish autism and adoption trauma had a manual to direct you through it all.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was kind of weird. Like,
that was in February. So,
like, what do you think other people do?
Someone commented and said, "I don't know the whole story, but thank you for being responsible. What a sacrifice you have made for yourself, your other children, and this little one."
What is there anyone out there that thinks this is like okay? Like, I want, please hit us up.
Well, I think the reason it's, you could say it's better for him now is that clearly if they're going to give him up, they're not good people. So
Well,
he's
yeah.
better off not being with them at that rate.
I know, but like they should have left him and let him be adopted by a family that would have loved him from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. All I know is that I hope her YouTube career is over.
Oh yeah, her who were her sponsors that pulled her?
Wasn't it like Little Tykes or something? Pampers?
Danimals. What?
I like Danimals.
Did I say it wrong?
Danimals.
Oh my God.
Danimals.
I don't like you.
Danimals. They pulled their sponsorship.
Okay, that's not how I say it. That's not how I said it.
They pulled their sponsorship.
Oh my God. Little Tykes.
They had like good ones.
Playtex.
That's what it was.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah, they're done. Bye.
Okay, so then that makes me to play devil's advocate, because you always like to play devil's advocate on me. Let me play devil's advocate on you. Okay. If she must have anticipated that this might be a reaction from the public. So is there any, thought that maybe this isn't like maybe it was that desperate that she I don't know. Like she must have known that her career was gonna be over. Like there's no way she's that unaware that
Okay. No, I think no, because she didn't. If she knew her career was going to be over, she wouldn't have posted anything, and she would have just stopped posting videos and let her career be over without the hatred. I feel like she did this. Like I don't think she anticipated everything being over.
well didn't she try to do that kind of and then people called her out like where's Huxley?
Yeah. So then just delete all your shit, and your YouTube career is literally over. You don't owe anybody an explanation then. Like she obviously didn't want it to be. You know what I mean? She didn't have to
Yeah.
answer those people. You know,
Mhm.
she knew this was going to happen. Why would she end it with hatred? And like, yeah, I think she didn't think that this would happen. Because the fact that she's continuing to speak out on it too, like, and there's new stuff, like, and she's updating her Instagram and all that, like, that's weird.
Yeah.
You know, like, why are you focusing on updating your social media when you're going through that decision also? Like, when did they make this decision? Probably back in fucking months ago. And they're like still making those YouTube videos. That's so weird. How do you have time for that?
Yeah. But
And
I just
why,
think like wouldn't it have been just if they have all this money, why wouldn't they have just hired like a full-time one-on-one aide for him?
maybe they don't have like all this money. Maybe they're not rich.
I thought they were.
I mean, how rich are you from YouTube? I don't know.
I don't know, hopefully we'll find out.
True.
Well, apparently this is the thing and it's pretty horrible. I'm sorry I didn't believe you.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, folks.
What are we calling this?
Episode Myka Stauffer.
You want to call it by her name?
Yeah, because then when bitches look that up, they're gonna come to us.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, let's do Myka Stauffer. You gonna call us out for calling her out?
Good. Call us out.
Oh, she used to be vegan too.
Oh my god, she's so fake.
Yeah, she posted like not vegan anymore, feeling so healthy. No longer vegan and getting my husband cut. I am 24 weeks. What?
Ew, in October, she posted a picture of him like with a Starbucks uniform on, saying, "My favorite Starbucks barista. You hold such a special place in my heart, sweet boy."
Ew. She used to be a raw vegan. I'm sharing my raw vegan, what I eat in a day with you. I've been raw vegan for quite some time. Okay, you're lying. And prefer it as my diet since I always have the most energy and feel amazing when I'm following it very strictly. You're lying. Right?
Yeah.
Let us know if you think this is okay because
Yeah, give us input because maybe we're ignorant.
to be honest, go ahead.
What?
No, we haven't checked our email, so I was gonna say email us, but I was gonna say to be honest, we haven't checked it, so I'm gonna go ahead and log in, make sure we haven't got any fan mail. We could read it on the podcast and respond to the critics. Let's see. Oh,
We got an email?
we got an email.
What they said?
I think it was spam because it got deleted. Okay. Next, we got a message from Hi Sarah. Okay, what about me? My name is Augie, and I am the founder of a whole food supplement company called Codage. And the Codage on Instagram. Would you be interested in trying some of our products and potentially doing a post or even simply sharing your feedback with us? Let me know. Hope you're staying safe out there. You think it's fake?
I mean, we could answer.
We can look into it. All right, guys. So yeah, we check our email sometimes. So send us one if you believe in this, and we'll have you on as a guest because that would be an interesting discussion.
Yep.
Okay, bye. Are you gonna nap?
Yeah, I'm gonna nap.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Call me when you wake up.
Good night, folks.
Bye.